Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here today is Susanne Blakeslee. Susanne, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
So, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got on doing acting.
Oh, geez. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be, well, first I wanted to be Julie Andrews, and then I wanted to be Shirley Jones, and then I wanted to be Carol Burnett. So I always wanted to be an actress and started getting into plays in high school. I was a really, really shy kid. But I just loved it. My mother had a beautiful voice, but she didn't like being on stage.
Mhm.
And I was always around music growing up. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And also, recently you've been in the Fairly Odd Parents, but also you were in the reboot of the Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder. How was that?
Oh, it was great!
I love that. That was awesome.
No, it was really, really fun. It was a shock.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, Darren and I talked about this. We had read about it, or I might have heard about it on a radio show that they were doing this live action reboot.
Hmm.
I said to myself, well, good luck to whoever's
Hmm.
playing Wanda.
Right.
And,
Hmm.
and then, sort of out of the blue, they're like, so can you start recording this? I'm like, yeah. Don't have to ask me twice.
That was perfect. That was a good impression. There you go. Don't have to ask twice.
That's right.
Hmm. So, what other stuff have you been? I know you've been in other stuff and you've done a lot of voice acting over the years.
Yeah, well, I do some characters for Disney, Cruella and Cinderella's stepmother, Lady Tremaine, the Evil Queen and Hag, um, Maleficent. Uh, so that was really exciting. I
Hmm.
think actually Cruella was one of the first things I did.
Hmm.
Uh, and it was a voice match. I'd never done one before, so I was literally like studying every ounce of pitch and tone, and it was a quite a challenge. And then I find out, of course, voice matching is a big part of animation.
Hmm. So, when you say voice match, what do you mean by that?
Well, the original character, you try to
Got
get
it.
as close as possible to the accent, the sound. By the way, this is just water.
I'm gonna be open and honest with you. I didn't even notice there for a second until you said it.
So it's, and even for instance, lots of times when a movie or a TV show does the ADR, which is the uh, additional vocal recording, there may be a drop in sound or whatever.
Hmm.
They will get actors. Lots of times they won't hire again the
Hmm.
principals. They'll just get an actor to sound like them.
Hmm. So I'm kind of seeing where like the shock came from you now because you're like, oh, they're gonna hire someone else. They don't need me anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It was just a complete surprise. And luckily, Darren and I don't have to be on camera.
Hmm.
We can stay in the shadows, just like be
Hmm.
behind the mic.
Yes, definitely. That's really cool that you guys got to do that. Do you have a favorite part of recording? Like, do you have a favorite part that you recorded of Wanda?
um, of this reboot,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I think it was just getting back in there and not having to, stand
Hmm.
in Starbucks and talk like Wanda because I miss her so much. But I loved the scripts. I thought they were really funny,
Mm-hmm.
and the situations, and they really knew their Fairly Odd Parents
Mm-hmm.
very well. And Darren and I were always saying,
Mm-hmm.
heck, we didn't have to learn any lines. We had the easy part.
Right?
The really live actors
Mm-hmm.
had to dance and
Mm-hmm.
sing, and I was privy, and every time I got a script, I'd be like, how can they do that in 3 days or whatever? It's
Mm-hmm.
really a fast thing. So you know, I just would roll up to the
Mm-hmm.
recording studio and half hour later go, are you sure you don't need me to do anything else? I do miss what I did miss here is normally in animation, you, well, not with the pandemic, but
Mm-hmm.
you record as a group, so it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like reading a radio play. And especially with Darren and myself, our characters kind of, Cosmo and Wanda kind of
Mm-hmm.
play off of each other. So I did miss that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's such a great guy. So
That too. So did you guys get to actually get in person when you guys did the reboot?
no, he
Oh, okay.
lives in some bunker in the south or something, and
Oh.
he doesn't disclose where he lives, but yeah, he records from home. So
Oh, okay.
did not get. I saw him on a few Zooms, but other than that, didn't get to see him.
Gotcha, gotcha. And did you go to a studio or do you have like your own home studio?
My home studio is a closet, so I
Okay.
prefer not to go there. Actually, during the pandemic, I felt very safe going to different studios because they had such, the union and the studios had
Mm-hmm.
such strict regulations that, yeah, so I went to the studio every week.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's awesome that you guys were able to do that and bring back characters that have not been able to be regenerated in such a long time.
Yeah, again, I'm still a little shocked at the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I love the way they designed the show too. So it's still that like pop of color that we had in the animated series, and you know, it's almost like Pee Wee's Playhouse type color. Oh, I'm dating myself, but but very bright
Mhm.
colors and whimsical, accoutrements.
Definitely. And something that I've noticed too between the two is that, there's a little bit of a different thing with obviously different characters. You're introducing a bunch of new people, and I thought that was really awesome too.
Yeah, yeah. I would love if they do any more, hopefully,
Yeah.
to actually be able to visit the set at some point when protocols are less
Hmm.
strict.
Yeah. It's definitely different for you voice actors versus the actors and actresses because obviously since they're to them, they have to physically be there. So,
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I've been in recording sessions where people show up in their pajamas. I mean, it really is true. Like, didn't couldn't you take a little time to get dressed? But
right?
it's such a fun profession.
Hmm.
It- Basically, if you make them laugh on the other side of the glass, it's
Hmm.
just a joy. And again, working in the traditional sense, when you get to work with a group of,
Hmm.
gosh, some of the most talented actors I've ever worked with in my entire life are in voiceover.
Hmm.
Um, and they also have some of them have like multi talents. They're musicians because you have to have a
Hmm.
good ear, and
Right.
it's just been an incredible gift, and I'm very thankful for it.
Hmm. So aside from all this, do you have any other upcoming projects that we can look forward to?
I've, oh gosh, well, I've got some cartoons coming up, but they have a like working title, so I couldn't really tell you. Um,
Gotcha.
uh, and some other there's a Disney cartoon that I ended up doing several episodes, and again, uh, animation takes so long from soup to nuts that it probably won't be out for another year. So
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's the other thing about it too. It they put so much time into it, and it takes, it ends up coming out beautifully, with that kind of stuff. It takes time to, put it together, make sure everything looks right and everything.
yeah, yeah, it's a very, very long
Mhm.
process. I
Mhm.
mean, actually, the voiceover actors are the smallest part of it.
Mhm.
I remember we had several years ago, a few times, a photo of all the Fairly Odd Parents, animators and stuff, and it's
Mhm.
this gigantic group of
Mhm.
people that really work really, really, really hard. So, and
Mhm.
the writers, of course. Um, it's quite a process. And
Mhm.
I just show up and read my line.
Honestly, for you, it's a little bit more of an easier job.
It is
Yeah.
truly. I like I said, it's a blessing to have any
Mhm.
sort of career in this. Absolutely, 100%. Um, I went from I came here to LA
Mhm.
um, uh, at the sort of right after the big earthquake in '94. Perfect timing. I was with a show called Forbidden Broadway, and we did 8 shows a week and
Mhm.
several characters, and it's all singing, and
Mhm.
that was work. But now I have it a little easier.
Yeah, definitely. Now, would you like to have more work, or do you like having the pace that you have now? Just curious.
I love to work. I mean, um, I can't see stopping ever. I love being an
Mhm.
actor. It's just a wonderful job. It's was my life's dream, and um, even just to get any work, I'm grateful all the time. So.
Definitely. So, do you have any advice to those who might want to start acting or even voice acting, but don't really know how to start or are nervous to start or any of the above?
Oh, gee, I think I've been asked that even by really young
Mhm.
people who want to go into the. I think just pursue what in any form as long as you love it. I mean, when I first moved, well, actually, when I was living in New York too, I'd see these kids that were just
Mhm.
wrestled into the room by their parents, and that ruins the joy. But I'd say for people who are in their 20s or whatever, a good way to get into voiceover is to join an improv group. Um, and do improv, and some people do stand up.
Mhm.
That I couldn't do, but
Mhm.
and also if you want to get into voiceover, try to get a good grip on music. Just play an instrument, or do some singing. Listen to a lot of music. And as far as just becoming an actor, I think you just follow your dream. And a lot of it is luck. A lot of
Mhm.
it is how a person looks. Maybe they'll grow into more roles as they get older
Mhm.
because you know, it's a better fit. Um, but I know it's hokey, but you just got to follow your dream and do the best you can, and know how to find jobs you can do on the side. Learn
Yeah.
how to wait tables if you live in New York.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to have something on the side because you gotta wait until you actually get a good role to be able to, help you live. So,
Ab-
yeah.
Absolutely, it's true.
Mhm,
Yeah, when I lived in New York for several years, I first did waiting tables in between
mhm,
jobs. That until I just got tired of people treating me like kind of
mhm.
lower than low,
Yeah.
and I learned how to work
Mhm.
computers. So it's just um, and also one thing that well, I believe this for everyone that I never learned it. It was never pushed on me as I was growing up. Take business classes,
Mhm,
because we never did, and I think it'll just help anybody in this world to
mhm.
negotiate, trying to survive. But yeah, and I mean, and it, interestingly enough or not, I studied in London for a couple of years to be a
Oh, wow.
true Shakespearean actor, and look at me now.
Mhm. Now that's really cool. How was that experience?
Oh, it was the best. It
I
was,
bet. Yeah.
oh my, it was the best. I saw so much theater there,
Mhm,
so much wonderful theater there. I had some great teachers, um, and it was, I was in school mostly with Brits, so it wasn't like an American or foreigners
mhm,
little pod. It,
mhm.
it was just wonderful. I would move to London in a heartbeat again. Of course, I
Definitely.
wouldn't have this sunshine, but
Yeah. Yes, you wouldn't have that, like you would probably have, like, more of a sunshine over you. Get it?
it was funny though. In When you live in London and the sun
Really. Mhm.
shines so seldom, but when it does, it's like,
I've never been, so I don't know, but that's awesome.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mhm. That is really, really cool. So do you have, like, a favorite, movie or TV show that you're not in or you just like to enjoy on your own time?
Well, oh God, yeah, there are a lot of them. I don't know what this says about me, but during the pandemic, I watched a lot of shows about murderers. So I don't know, maybe thinking, wow, I'm better off than them. Um, uh, Ted Lasso. Oh,
Mhm,
love that show. Um, I'm trying to think, and I love. Gosh, this is gonna. I don't know what this says about me either. I love watching documentaries on cults. I find it just fascinating.
really?
Yeah, I don't watch very many sitcoms,
Mhm,
but the law shows, and
mhm,
trying to think if there's a favorite. I loved Killing Eve, you know,
mhm.
off the wall stuff. I liked Mr. Robot, weird stuff.
What do you like doing outside of acting? Do you, have any hobbies or interests that you like doing?
I love to hike. I hike a lot.
Mhm.
I hike many miles a week.
Oh, wow.
I live in the Hollywood Hills, so you can just
Mhm,
up uh,
mhm.
the
Up the
street.
mountains you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
I love that. Um, and I love going to the ocean. Um, don't When I say I love to hike a lot, it's the not sleeping in a tent type.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's strapping on the boots, but if I go anywhere far, I stay in a hotel that night.
So, yeah, you don't like camping, but you like hiking.
Exactly.
Got it. Mhm,
Yeah, I gave up camping when I was I guess the last family camping trip when I was a kid, I'm like, oh.
You're like, not again. Nope, never, never,
No,
never.
yep.
So if someone was to like write a movie about you or your life story or anything like that, what would they write about?
Um, oh, well, that I've traveled a lot,
Hmm.
that I'm a goofball,
You're a goofball of that.
yeah, and I love to laugh. I mean, that's if you lose your laughter in your life, then it's,
Hmm.
pretty sad shape.
Yeah. Sure is. Unfortunately, laughter is what keeps us going when we're
It
down. So
is.
I mean, that would be really bad for
Yeah,
someone. I feel like.
yeah, exactly. Um, but no one would want to make a movie of my life. I'm not that interesting. I get to play interesting people, though.
That is true. Like Wanda, she has her own characteristic of her own.
Exactly, exactly.
Now I'm curious, do you think you and Wanda have any similarities?
um, yeah, well, yeah. I can grant wishes. Um, um, we're both very upbeat
Hmm.
people, and the people we care about deeply.
Hmm.
Um, she has a very soothing voice, not unlike my
Hmm.
own. I mean, I could listen to that just fall asleep. Good night. But
Definitely. She has that voice that's like, if she was to go sing a song, I think she would kill it.
I know, or,
Right?
or or blow your eardrums out at the
Or
same
that too.
time.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, I.
it's
Oh, I'm sorry.
it that's okay. That's okay. It's funny is that one of the episodes that I think about it is when the other girl, I forget her name. One of the girls are singing and she doesn't like her singing, like, and everything. I think that was one of the episodes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes. It's oh, the best friend. Uh, and
I
then
know what it is. It's just I can't think of it off the top of my
yeah, I mean either. But yeah, I love that. It's
Mhm.
and I
That's
actually I
that's what it made me
originally
think of.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's true. I mean, originally my idea for the character was sort of based on a cross between Carol Burnett and Joanne Worley, if you
Hmm.
know of her.
I
Um,
think so. Name sounds familiar. Can't put a face to it.
she's a funny lady. She was on a show years and years ago that was actually ahead of its time called Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In,
Hmm.
and she was just she don't like it,
Yeah,
Great.
definitely. Well, is there a message that you would like to give your fans or anyone watching or listening to this, Susanne?
Keep watching it 24/7 if you can. I don't watch ratings, but hey, that might be a good idea. I think to all the fans, I hope that this new reboot captures some of their love of the animated series and takes it forward because it's really a show about you know finding your place, whether
Hmm.
you're the the nerdiest kid or have forgetful parents or whatever, but you find your place, you find the people who
Hmm.
love you in life. It's not a bad thing. And you get to laugh a lot, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. Always want to make sure that you have some sort of laughter around you, for sure.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm. Whether it be friends, family, anyone really.
Yeah. 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 And I found out during the pandemic, the few times I would go out,
Mm-hmm.
of course you're masked, and I might have
Mm-hmm.
had sunglasses on, and I'm like, boy, the people in the grocery store must be getting tired of me because I always wanted like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Let's make this day great.
No, I get that completely, and especially with like a pandemic, you kind of need that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But
Luckily, things are starting to, kind of open back up slowly but surely. But you know,
absolutely. I'm very, very thankful to have gotten through that.
definitely. Is there anything that I forgot to mention that you'd like to mention before we go today?
um, well, you didn't mention how stunningly beautiful I am, but you know, that's okay.
Okay, you are
I mean,
very beautiful.
just it's all right. I'm only a little bothered by it. No, there's nothing else, Kayden.
No, it's all good, Susanne. I mean, I know you're
Fun.
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's awesome. Oh, that was great. Anyway, I would like to thank Susanne Blakeslee for coming on the Kayden Gordon Show, today's Best Country Mix. We appreciate your time so much to talk with us today.
Thank you. Bye. It's good to talk to you.